Hello, welcome to the next video in our series about debunking myths about Muslims. I'm joined by Imran. How you doing, Imran?
Hello, Colin. Nice to meet you.
Nice to, yeah, my name's Colin, as Imran just said. Now, today we're going to be talking about Muslims being intolerant of other faiths. This is what people are emailing in and asking us and saying Muslims are intolerant of other faiths. What do you say to that?
It's a good point. Good question, Colin. First of all, I'd like to give the Islamic perspective.
Yeah.
So, you've got the golden rule in all, I think, 7 major religions. That it says in Islam, it says this, that our Prophet Muhammad said that if none of you truly believes in Islam unless what you love for yourself, you love for your brother.
Right.
And in Islam, it said the word brother means inhumanity. Yeah. So that's the first point. Regarding being tolerant of other faiths. If I give you a historical perspective, for example, Muslims ruled Spain for 750 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Muslims left Spain after 750 years, the Jews left with them. And most people would like to believe that there's some sort of issue between Muslims and Jews. It's not true, because the Jewish people felt safe under Muslim rule,
Right.
and they left with them. And the other thing I would say is, for over 1,000 years, Muslims ruled parts of India, or the majority of India. But today, Muslims only make up roughly about 20% of India. If they did spread that by the sword, then most of India would be a Muslim country. Yeah.
See, this was the other myth that we were going to talk about today, was that Islam was spread by the sword. So what you're saying there is that's a complete myth as well, really.
Correct. So if we really look at the biggest Muslim country in the world, it's actually not an Arab country. It's Indonesia. Most people don't know that. And there's never ever been a Muslim army that's ever been to Indonesia. So how do they become Muslims? It was never done. I'll give you this other point. This is a really important point. So after 9/11, the Quran became the fastest selling book, or the #1 selling book worldwide. In particular in the United States, in particular in Europe. In the United States in particular, I think it's in the first 6 months or 9 months, over 40,000 Americans converted to Islam. Yeah, when Islam was being vilified in the media. Yeah. So the question I have is, why did the Americans, who at that time were curious and inquiring about Islam, and there was a lot of hate, there was a lot of hatred at that time for
a lot of negative
press against Islam, which I can understand to some extent because of what had happened. They felt Muslims were responsible. Why did they then convert? And the irony of that is, 2/3 of the people who converted were in fact women.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
It's an amazing irony. And today, Islam is the fastest growing religion, mainly because I think many people, when they are curious about Islam, they read up on it, and they find it to be very just and tolerant. And unfortunately, I will also say this, there is some truth to say that there have been some Muslims who have not practiced their religion the way they should have.
Right.
And unfortunately, there is a silent majority of Muslims who are very good people, very law-abiding, but haven't spoken up to show the real good message of Islam. So there is that dichotomy as well.
Okay, very interesting. So going back to Muslims being intolerant of other faiths, have you seen any evidence in your local life, going on a personal level, where that is true? Do any of your, friends?
For example, it's a very good question. If most people see Muslims today in the UK as an example, most likely you will interact with Muslims, for example, when you go to the hospital. Your doctor may well be a Muslim. Yeah? He will treat you regardless of what religion you are. Yeah? If you go to a restaurant, an Indian restaurant, wherever that may be, they will serve you, treat you as if you're a Muslim, or a taxi driver. And Muslims are very entrepreneurial, they have very good businesses, and there's never been an issue in how they've dealt with the public and service, etc. Then if we move on to the issue in friendship and in universities, etc. So I've been through the university system in the UK. Most of my friends on my phone are actually not Muslims, even on my Facebook. And that's the way the generation is today. But there is a generational gap, which I will agree with you, Colin. The first people who came to this country that were like my father's grandfather, maybe they were a little bit secluded because they had issues with the language. Maybe they felt there was racism. I don't know. So they were a little bit more into their community. But that's natural because if you look at the British people who live in Spain and Portugal, some people say there's close to 1 million, but most of them can't speak a word of Spanish.
And they all live in the same place.
Yeah,
together.
Exactly. Have English breakfast, etc. Yeah. So it's kind of like a natural phenomenon. But the younger generation who've come through the UK education system are very well integrated, and statistics have shown in the UK that they're more proud to be British than most people from other ethnic minorities.
Very interesting point. And I know people that live in Spain and they've had kids there and they can't really speak Spanish and they'll never be able to do it, like you were saying. But their kids, fluent in both languages, they're really integrated, so there you go, So that's a very, very valid point there. So there we go, we've been debunking myths about Muslims, debunking the myth that Muslims are intolerant of other faiths, and that Islam was spread by the source. Thank you very much, Imran. Please like this video, please share it, please subscribe. Thank you very much. Join us for our next one.